It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by AgileDad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. I had someone recently ask me, do sprint goals actually work? And I thought it would be fun to start off by defining what a sprint goal actually is. So, for me, a sprint goal represents what you as a team hope to achieve during a sprint, but it must focus on the sprint at hand, the iteration. Think about it as like a taxi company or a bus company that must take its clients from a hotel to the airport. At the beginning of the trip, the taxi driver does the itinerary. They think about the route plan that the taxi driver would take, and that's the equivalent of your sprint planning, if you will. And in most of the trips, the taxi driver would just follow the set itinerary. But there are situations where they must find an alternative route. There are situations where they have to pivot and change. So, what will happen if you simply give the path to follow to the taxi driver and say, here's what you need to follow, nothing more, A to B? She won't even think about finding ways to optimize the trip or to make your trip more enjoyable. And now, what if you give the explicit goal to the driver? And it's exactly the same case for teams. If you just give them this explicit goal, they're going to need to sprint plan at the beginning of the trip. And most of the time, that's going to help them figure out or estimate and know what destination you're trying to make it to and get all the key factors in play. But sometimes someone may have to stop at a store to pick up supplies or to pick up something for the trip or whatever the case may be. But the overall goal should be to enable the team to find alternate ways to get to a destination and to take into account different things that could happen and how they would overcome those things if needed. So, what I'm trying to say is, I think it's time for us to think beyond just the simple sprint goals and to start thinking about ways that we can accommodate or be more accommodating to the sprint. So, I hear people tell me all the time, they challenge me, they say, but Lee, if we finish all the stories in a sprint, is that not achieving a sprint goal? Well, yeah, you're doing what you said you were going to do, and that's part of the sprint goal. Here's the thing. Years ago, when we're doing waterfall project management, we're spending so much time on requirements and trying to reach a state of the art product and make sure everything's clearly defined, and products were taking longer than ever to be built. With the digital revolution, speed absolutely matters. With AI, speed matters. Nowadays, a business cannot afford to invest in perfect backlog items. They can't afford to invest in perfect refinement. This is where Agile is going to help teams deliver quicker and learn faster. That's the key. So you can create better products by getting direct feedback and not by trying to create the best specifications document. So if you leverage sprint goals, this is going to help you cut back on that spec document, and it's going to enable the team to understand the business needs when they deliver a solution. It's going to help them understand the needs of the consumer. So in the end, business owners feel more comfortable because the answer is coherent without spending a tremendous amount of time in specifications or exhaustive testing or amplified details. The business owners actually know what's going on and stakeholders can make informed decisions. Sprint goals can also help the team find alternative ways to implement a solution and gives them power to adapt and to recover from a delay and to innovate. By following requirements as is, there's just no room for pivoting or adjustments, and it kills everything, including change requests. Sprint goals should always involve the team. So designing a solution, creating your product, that's all rewarding. But the fact is everyone wants to do a fulfilling job, and we should leverage the goals to help the team have success markers so that they can get those notches in their belt, per se. A sprint goal should also enable the team to go the extra mile and find ways to get you to the same destination. Much like a taxi driver, if you arrive late because there's an accident, it's understood. You would expect the taxi driver to take a different route or the Uber driver to take another route to get you there, to catch your plane, to make it on time. You'd want them to adjust and pivot that route. But you'd be surprised how many people say, you know what, it's as is, this is the plan, this is the route, let's go, right? And that never works when you do that. I think that sprint goals are designed for us to help teams and help team members firm up predictability. This allows us to understand the scope of the work quickly, So we can decide how many items, what volume of items we can fit inside of a sprint box. So that way we can figure out, okay, if we program everything and set it up to where we're at 75% of our maximum volume, then we know that things could be unpredictable and we can take that into account. But I think that in most organizations or most situations, we don't think like a marathon runner. We think simply because we say the word sprint that we need to put all of our effort up front and run the entire time. When if you think like a marathon runner, they know they're going to be going for 26.2 miles. They're not going to go all out sprint in the very beginning. I mean, they may run fast to stay with the lead pack, but they're not going to do that all out, just live or let die sprint at the beginning. They save some of that energy for the middle and the end, knowing that they have a full 26 miles to go, right? Okay, so I think the big consideration here when doing goals is to make sure the goals are measurable. Make sure that they're helping you ensure predictability. Make sure that they're helping you measure performance. Because if you're not doing those things, it's going to put you in a trap. So if you want to learn more about performance and team performance and how to do estimates accurately and all that good stuff, we have tons of videos and white papers that'll help guide you through to help you get to those. And these are also parts of the 12-step program. So there's lots of value that you can get from just going and researching this topic alone. My best advice to you is this. If you've never done a sprint goal, try it. It doesn't have to be anything monumental, but it shouldn't just be finish the items in our sprint according to the acceptance criteria. We can do a little better than that. That's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at AgileDad.com. We would love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.